Do you need something peacefully meditative to guide you into sleep? You have come to the perfect place. This video is part of a tranquil, alphabetical sleep journey where we softly explore beautiful, meaningful, and poetic words from the Japanese language. It is purposefully gentle, quietly contemplative, and deeply calming. No busy sounds, no sudden changes, just a soft Japanese voice and ancient words designed to bring harmony to your restless thoughts. Close your eyes. Let the words wash over you. Sleep will follow. Let's begin. Agyo, a type of statue with its mouth open to pronounce the sound A, first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet and symbol of the beginning of all things. Akubujo, a type of no mask representing an elderly male character characterized by its dignified expression and architectural features. Akuba, a role of evil woman in Sewamono plays. Ala, a side room or room on the wings of the atrium. Amida Nyorai, Japanese name of Amitabha, deity worshipped mainly by the Pure Land sect. Angama, a traditional folk dance from the Yaeyama Islands of Okinawa, performed during festivals and celebrations. Angura, underground theater movement that emerged in Japan in the 1960s as an experimental and avant-garde form of theater. Anjitsu, literally hermitage residence, a religious hermitage or retreat. Ara, the focal point of sacrifice, the altar. Most altars were simple, open-air structures. Aragoto, a rough, masculine style of kabuki acting characterized by exaggerated movements, bombastic speeches, and dynamic poses. Aragotoshi, an actor playing heroes in Aragoto style. Arakan, the highest level of Buddhist ascetic practice, or someone who has reached it. Arbor Felix, a tree classified as fruitful or auspicious if protected by heavenly gods. Arbor Infelix, trees under the protection of chthonic gods. Ashi, thin line that runs across the temper line to the cutting edge. Ashigaru, feudal foot soldiers drawn from the peasant or commoner class rather than from the samurai hereditary warrior class. Ashikaga, Bushi clan from Kamakura whose members ruled as shoguns over Japan from 1336 to 1573. Atari Kyogen, a popular hit play. Atsuita, a thick, richly woven brocade fabric used in kabuki costumes, particularly for male roles. Atrium, large open-air or skylight-covered space providing light and ventilation to the interior. Augur, priest whose main role was to interpret the will of the gods by studying the flight of birds. Auguraculum, a ritual space from which augurs observed the templum. Augurium, an abstract noun pertaining to augury, the sacral investiture of the augur. Aureus, gold coin of ancient Rome originally valued at 25 pure silver denarii. Awa Odori, Japan's largest dance festival held annually in Tokushima Prefecture during Obon. Ayahashi, a type of no mask portraying a beautiful young woman with a mysterious, ethereal quality. Ayasugi Hada, regular wavy surface grain pattern, also known as Gasan Hada. Bakufu, a shogun's government, commonly called shogunate in English. Balneum, private house bath suite, smaller than thermi. Beto, the head of a civilian, military or religious institution. Bodai, refers to the way or knowledge of Buddhism, Buddhist enlightenment, and ceremonies to ensure someone's happiness after death. Bodaiji, Bodhi temple, a temple that takes care of a family's dead over generations. Bokuto, an authentically shaped wooden practice sword or other bladed weapon. Bon odori, traditional festival dances performed during Obon to welcome ancestral spirits. Bosatsu, a bodhisattva. Also the historical Buddha before enlightenment. Boshi, temper line of the blade point. Buddha can refer to Shakyamuni Buddha, anyone who has become enlightened, or an image of Buddha. Budogoto, a type of kabuki role featuring combat scenes and swordplay. Bugaku, imperial court dance that originated in ancient China and Korea. Bugyo, a magistrate. Examples include the Edo period Machibugyo. Bunraku, traditional Japanese puppet theater, founded in Osaka in the beginning of the 17th century. Bushi, a member of the warrior class, a samurai. Bushido, purported warrior code of honor analogous to Western chivalry. Busokuseki, Buddha's footstone, a stone carved with footprints representing Buddha. Butsudan, Hall of Buddha, main hall in Zen temples housing the statue of Buddha or a bodhisattva. Butsudan, a tabernacle for Buddhist images and ancestral tablets in homes. Buto, a stupa or related structure. Buto, an avant-garde performance art that emerged in post-war Japan. Chakirako, a traditional dance from Miura, Kanagawa Prefecture, performed by young women at New Year celebrations. Chike, black gleaming lines of Nai that appear in the ji. Chinju, the tutelary kami or shrine of an area or Buddhist temple. Chinjusha, a small shrine at a Buddhist temple dedicated to its tutelary kami. Chindonya, street performers who combine music and elaborate costumes to advertise for businesses. Chirimenhada, distinctly visible mokumehada with a clearer steel than in similar but coarser patterns. Choji midare, an irregular hamon pattern resembling cloves with a round upper part and a narrow constricted lower part. Choken, commonly used as a calque for the broadest definition of European longswords. Chokuto, straight sword primarily produced during the ancient period. Chonin, townsman, a social class that emerged in Japan during the early years of the Tokugawa period. Chorei Beishimi, a category of no mask depicting powerful supernatural beings. Choto, either a naga-katana or a naginata. Chumon, gate after the Nandaimon connected by a gallery. Chunori, aerial stunts in kabuki where actors are suspended by wires to simulate flight. Chushibai, a middle-sized kabuki theater, also known as hamashibai, when located near riverbanks. Daijin Bashira, main stage pillars marking the boundaries of the primary performance space. Daikagura, a traditional Japanese performance art that evolved from Shinto ritual origins. Daimokutate, a medieval Japanese performance art that combined recitation with mimetic movement. Daimyo, a feudal lord during the later Muromachi period, Sengoku period, Azuchi Momoyama period, and Edo period. Dainichi Nyorai, Japanese name of Vairocana, considered an emanation of the kami Amaterasu. Dainichido Bugaku, a ritual dance tradition from Hachimantai, Iwate Prefecture. Daisho, any pair of Japanese swords of differing lengths worn together. Daito, any type of Japanese longsword, the larger in a pair of daisho. Damari, silent pantomime scenes in kabuki depicting characters searching in darkness. Danka, a family or individual affiliated to a temple. Danka system, system where families support a temple in return for religious services. Dekata, theater ushers who served food and sake to clients during Edo period performances. Dengaku, an ancient form of Japanese rural theater and dance that originated from rice planting songs. Du, suffix for hall in temple architecture, Dokegata, comic actors. Ebizori, stylized backward-arching pose expressing submission to power or intense emotion. Edo, the old name of Tokyo when it was the seat of the Tokugawa shogunate. Eikyo Rebellion, Ashikaga Mochiuji's 1439 rebellion against the Ashikaga shogunate. Eisa, a traditional Okinawan folk dance performed during the Bon Festival. Ende, distinctive wig style for tachiyaku roles, featuring extended side pieces resembling swallow wings. Enkiri, dramatic scenes in kabuki depicting forced separation of lovers. Enma, Japanese form of Yama, ruler of the Buddhist underworld. Fuebashira, the flute pillar on the no stage, located at downstage left. Fudai daimyo, a daimyo who was a hereditary vassal of the Tokugawa before the Battle of Sekigahara. Fuju Fusegi, Nichiren sect rule to neither accept nor give anything to non-believers. Fukeyaku, actors who play both male and female elderly characters. Fukeoyama, actors specializing in elderly female roles. Fukura, the cutting edge of the blade point. Funbari, tapering of the blade from the base to the point. Furyu no, a style of no performance characterized by elaborate stage action and acrobatics. Futayaku, an actor who performs multiple roles in the same play. Gagaku, traditional Japanese court music that has accompanied ceremonies since the 7th century. Gaikoku Bugyo, commissioners appointed to oversee foreign trade and relations between 1858 and 1868. Gakuya, backstage areas housing actors, stage crews, and support staff. Geiko, Kyoto's term for geisha, professional female entertainers trained in traditional Japanese arts. Gainyabanashi, artful tales performed in yosei theaters, characterized by sophisticated narrative techniques. Geisha, traditional female performing artists and entertainers skilled in classical music, dance, and conversation. Geijin, portion of a main hall open to the public as opposed to Naijin. Gekino, a style of no performance that emphasizes dramatic plot development and narrative action. Gendaito, swords produced after 1876, modern swords. Genko War, a civil war which marked the fall of the Kamakura shogunate. Genpei War, a conflict between the Taira and Minamoto clans in late Heian period Japan. Genroku Kabuki, pivotal period when kabuki reached artistic maturity, marked by development of aragoto and wagoto styles. Genro, unofficial term for retired Japanese statesmen considered founding fathers of modern Japan. Genzai no, a category of no plays featuring human characters with events unfolding in a linear timeline. Geiza, a small black room housing musicians who provide background music and sound effects in kabuki. Gidayu, a style of musical narration created by Takemoto Gidayu in Osaka in 1684. Gigaku, an ancient form of masked dance drama that arrived in Japan from Korea in 612 CE. Gigaku masks, large wooden masks used in gigaku performances, characterized by their exaggerated features. Gobankaji, honorable rotation smiths, swordsmiths summoned by retired Emperor Go-Toba, Gokaden. The 5 basic styles of swords during the Koto period. Gokenin, a vassal of the shogun during the Kamakura, Ashikaga, and Tokugawa shogunates. Goko, background light, the Buddhist version of a halo or aureole. Goma, ritual of offering into a consecrated fire, mainly used in Shingon Buddhism. Gomabashi, pair of parallel grooves running partway up the blade resembling chopsticks. Gongan, Buddhist deities manifesting as native kami to guide people. Gorinto, a 5-tiered stupa found in temples and cemeteries. Gosanke, 3 branches of the Tokugawa clan from which a shogun might be chosen. Gosankyo, 3 branches of the Tokugawa clan established by Tokugawa Yoshimune. Goseku, 5 seasonal festivals traditionally associated with kabuki performances. Gosho, the emperor's throne or his residence. Goshu Ondo, a folk dance style from the Omi region, featuring characteristic rhythmic patterns. Gozoku, local samurai clans with significant local landholdings. Gozan Seido, network of Zen temples with important administrative roles. Guruden Kombi, a golden combination of famous kabuki actors performing together. Gunomi, a wave-like outline of the temper line made up of similarly sized semicircles. Ha, the tempered cutting edge of a blade. Habutai, a silk or cotton skull cap worn by actors under their wigs. Hachininge, a performance art where a single performer rapidly changes costumes to portray multiple characters. Haibutsukishaku, movement or violence aimed at expelling Buddhism from Japan. Haimyo, literary name of kabuki actors, originally haiku pen names. Hajimi, misty spots in the temper line resulting from repeated grinding or faulty tempering. Hakomawashi, traveling puppeteers who perform solo, handling puppets and providing narration. Hakushikijo, a type of no mask representing a mature male character of high status. Hamachi, notch in the cutting edge, dividing the blade proper from the tang. Hamon, border between the tempered part of the cutting edge and the untempered part of the sword. Han, feudal fiefs, the land owned and controlled by a noble lord or clan. Hana, a central aesthetic concept in No representing beauty and artistic mastery. Hanamichi, a raised walkway in kabuki theater that extends from the back of the theater through the audience to the main stage. Handagataki, comic villain roles combining menace with humor. Hanhonji Suijaku, theory proposing kami are superior to Buddhist gods. Hanya, a no mask depicting a jealous female demon. Hansatsu, script issued by a Han. Harukoma, a traditional Japanese dance where performers use handheld horsehead props. Hatamoto, high-ranking direct retainers of the Tokugawa shogunate. Hataraki, patterns and shapes that appear on the surface of the steel as a result of sword polishing. Hatsubutai, an actor's stage debut, marking their first official performance appearance. Hatsuharu Kyogen, the first performance of the new year. Hato, Dharma Hall, a hall for lectures on Buddhist scriptures. Hayachin Kagura, a form of sacred dance from Iwate Prefecture performed as offerings at shrines. Hayagawari, quick costume changes performed by actors during performances. Hayashi, the instrumental ensemble in No theater consisting of 4 musicians. Hayashigata, a member of the Hayashi. Heian-kyo, capital of Japan from 794 to 1185, located in present-day Kyoto. Heian period, historical period during which the capital was located at Heian-kyo. Hengimono, a specialized performance style in kabuki where a single actor rapidly changes costumes. Higashiyama, a cultural movement during the late Muromachi period that influenced No theater. Hikai Yagura, substitute theaters in Edo authorized to perform kabuki when licensed theaters face difficulties. Hikidogu, wheeled platforms used in kabuki to move set pieces or actors across the stage. Hiki Yoshikazu's rebellion. Hiki Yoshikazu's rebellion against the Hojo clan. Hikimaku, the kabuki stage curtain pulled from right to left. Hikinuki, a quick change technique where an outer costume is removed by pulling threads. Hiraji, curved surface between the ridge and temper line. Hirazukuri, nearly flat blade without a ridge or yokote. Hitatsura, temper line with tempering marks visible around the ridge and near the edge. Ho, the Dharma and Sutras, also called Buppo. Hojo, living quarters of Zen head priest. Hojo clan, branch of the Taira clan that ruled Japan from Kamakura during the Kamakura period. Hokekyo, the Lotus Sutra. Hokoshu, during the Muromachi period, the Gokenin part of the shogun's personal army. Hokudo, Lotus Sutra Hall, a hall for meditative walking in Tendai Buddhism. Hokyozukuri, roof with curved triangles meeting at the top. Hokyo-into, tower-shaped stupa variant originally housing the Hokyoin Dharani Sutra. Homyo, Buddhist or posthumous name adopted after vows or death. Honan Mono, kabuki plays adapted from foreign works but reset with Japanese characters. Honbo, residence of temple's head priest. Honbutai, the main performance area of the No Theater. Hondo, main hall of a temple, housing the main cult image. Honmizu, real water effects used as spectacular stage techniques in kabuki. Honmyo, an actor's real name, as distinct from their stage name. Honji Suijaku, pre-Meiji theory that Buddhist deities appear as native kami to save the Japanese. Hotoke means Buddha, a sacred statue, or a deceased person's soul. Hoto, treasure tower, a stone stupa with layered shapes. Hayakudoishi, 100-time stone, marker for devotees making repeated visits to a temple. Hayakudomairi, ritual of praying by visiting a temple 100 times. Hayakunichi, a specific type of wig featuring long, unkempt black hair. Haibanki, critical evaluations and rankings of kabuki actors published during the Edo period. Hyoshigi, wooden clappers used to signal important moments in kabuki performances. Hyoshigoto, dances characterized by rhythmic foot stamping to keep time. Hyoshimai, an early form of kabuki dance where performers simultaneously sing and dance. Ichibanme, the first section of a kabuki program, traditionally featuring historical plays. Ichimai boshi, a fully tempered point area because the hamon turns back before reaching the point. Ichimonjikeri, a boshi which turns back in a straight horizontal line. Ichiza, a troupe. Inoge, family arts passed down through generations. Iemoto, the current head of a school of Japanese traditional art. Ikubi Kisaki, boar's neck point, a short, stubby blade point. Impluvium, sunken part of the atrium designed to carry away rainwater. In, suffix in temple or posthumous names. Indo, Buddhist requiem or prayers for the dead. In situ, in its original place or site. Insula, city block or apartment building in Roman city planning. Inzo, Buddhist mudra or hand gesture common in statues. Iori, top ridge of the back edge, the back ridge. Irimoyazukuri, hip and gable roof design. Irowaku, handsome villain roles depicting attractive but ruthless characters. Itame hada, surface grain pattern of scattered irregular ovals resembling wood grain. Ji, area between the ridge and the hamon. Jidaimono, historical plays in kabuki theater, typically set in Japan's feudal past. Jigan, material of the blade. Jigo, main part of a temple's name, often in common use. Jihada, visible surface pattern of the steel resulting from hammering and folding. Jikidu, dining hall or refectory in a monastery. Jini, knee that appears in the hiraji. Jiriki, one's own power or self-effort in practice. Jito, shogun-appointed officials that managed shun during the Kamakura and Muromachi shogunates. Jitsugoto, realistic acting style portraying honest individuals in tragic circumstances. Jitwaku, a purely evil character role, typically an evil samurai. Jutai, the chorus in no theater, typically consisting of 6 to 10 singers. Jizo, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, guardian of children, especially those who died young. Johakyu, a concept of modulation and movement applied in various Japanese traditional arts. Jokoto, ancient sword made before the mid-Heian period. Straight blades. Jokyokumai, a variant of kusemai, in which female performers wear male clothing. Jokyu War, a 1221 war between Emperor Go-Toba and the Kamakura shogunate. Joruri, a form of traditional Japanese narrative music in which a taiyu sings to shamisen accompaniment. Juka choji, multiple overlapping clove-shaped choji midar patterns. Juken, bayonet or firearm sword. Juni Shinsho, the 12 heavenly generals who accompany Yakushi Nyurai. Juroku Rakan, the 16 arhats who are tasked with preserving Buddha's teachings after his death. Jushoku, chief priest of a temple or monastery. Kabuki, a classical Japanese dance drama known for its stylized performances, elaborate costumes, and distinctive makeup. Kabuki brush, a specialized makeup brush used in kabuki theater for applying white foundation. Kabuki theater, traditional Japanese theater buildings with distinctive architectural features. Kabu Ishin, a fundamental principle in No emphasizing unity of song, dance, and spiritual intention. Kachash, an Okinawan folk dance performed at the end of festivals and celebrations. Keri, the part of the temper line that extends from the tip of the boshi to the back edge. Kagema, male performers who specialized in female roles in early kabuki. Kagura, sacred Shinto dance performed at shrines as offerings to the gods. Kaidan, ghost stories performed as theatrical entertainment, often during summer months. Kaiken, dagger concealed in the clothing. Kaikin, maritime prohibitions imposed by the Tokugawa shogunate from roughly 1635 to 1853. Kairo, roofed gallery connecting two temple buildings. Kaisando, founder's hall, houses figure or tablet of the temple or sect founder. Kakego, traditional shouts or calls used in Japanese theater, especially kabuki. Kakubeijishi, a children's lion dance from Echigo Prefecture. Kami, Japanese deity, includes mythological deities, nature spirits, or sacred power. Kamigata, the style of kabuki developed in the Kyoto-Osaka region. Kamikaze, Japanese special attack units of military aviators, also means divine wind. Kamiko, paper clothing traditionally worn by Buddhist priests, adapted in kabuki. Kamimono, a category of no plays featuring deities as main characters. Kamishibai, a form of street theater storytelling where performers narrated stories using illustrated boards. Kamishimo, formal samurai attire consisting of kataginu and hakama. Kamisuki, stylized love scene where a woman combs a man's hair with her ornamental hairpin. Kamogawa Odori, annual dance performances by Pontocho Geiko in May. Kampaku, an imperial regent who served functions such as chief advisor and secretary. Kankitan, the Buddhist version of the Hindu Ganesh. Kano disturbance, a 1350 factional struggle between Ashikaga Tadayoshi and the Ko brothers. Kanon, goddess of mercy and compassion, venerated in temples and shrines. Kanrei, a high political post of the Kamakura and Ashikaga shogunates. Kantharos, deep-wined cup used for drinking or ritual purposes. Kayomis, annual face-showing ceremonies in kabuki theaters. Karamon, gate with an arched roof. Karaori, a fine silk brocade used primarily for female roles in kabuki and no theater. Karesansui, dry landscape or zen rock garden. Kasan, blade thickness measured across the back edge. Kata, units of movement in the no theater. Kataire, costume style featuring patched shoulders and sleeves to represent poverty. Katakyuchi mono, revenge plays focusing on vendetta stories. Katakiyaku, villain roles in kabuki. Katana, curved sword with a blade length longer than 60 centimeters, worn with the blade edge facing upward. Kataochi gunom, gunome with a straight top and an overall slant. Kataru, the spoken dialogue portions of no plays, as distinct from the sung portions. Katomado, bell-shaped window, originally from Chinese Zen temples. Katsura mono, a category of no plays featuring female protagonists. Katsureki, a style of kabuki plays developed in the Meiji period that aimed for historical accuracy. Kawazuko choji midare pattern variant with peaks resembling tadpoles. Kayaku, cross-gender casting technique where actors perform outside their usual specialty. Kekai, restricted or purified area in esoteric Buddhism. Ken, counter for base between pillars, also a historical unit of measure. Kenin, one of the lower castes under the Ritsuryo system. Kenshibu, sword dances performed as part of martial arts demonstrations. Kentoshi, mission to Tang China for importing technologies and culture. Kenzui Shi, mission to Sui China for importing technologies and culture. Keren, stage tricks and special effects used in kabuki theater. Keshogo, ritualized audience calls during aragoto performances. Keshin, personification or avatar of a deity. Kintsugi, gold line, short, straight, thin, radiant black line of Nie. Kiri no, the final plays in a traditional no program. Kirizuma Zukuri, gabled roof type. Kishoten Ketsu, a 4-part narrative structure common in East Asian storytelling. Kisaki, fan-shaped point of the blade, separated from the body of the sword by the yokote. Kizewa mono, a genre of kabuki plays featuring portrayals of society's outcasts. Kodu, non-Zen lecture hall in temple. Kodan, narrative stories focusing on historical events and military tales. Kodogu, stage props in kabuki, including handheld items and preset pieces. Kogai, skewer for the owner's hairdo, carried in scabbard pockets. Kogatana, any knife, particularly a small utility knife carried in scabbard pockets. Kojo, formal stage announcements delivered by actors. Kokata, a child actor role in no theater. Koken, a non-performing senior actor in no theater who overviews the play. Kokoro, a crucial concept in no referring to the mental and spiritual state of the performer. Koku, an amount of rice equal to the amount one man eats in a year. Kokubunji, provincial temples established by Emperor Shomu for monks. Kokumochi, costumes featuring blank white circles where family crests would normally appear. Komaru, small circle, a boshi that runs parallel to the cutting edge. Komainu, Korean dogs or lion dogs, pairs of guardian statues at entrances. Kondo, golden hall, main worship hall with true 2 stories. Koro, tower housing a drum that marks the passing of time. It used to face the shoro and lie next to the kodo, but now the drum is usually kept in the romon. Koshinogi, diagonal line that separates the point of a blade from the shinogiji and extends the ridge to the back edge in the kisaki area. Koshizori, curvature with the center of the curve near or inside the tang. Koto. Old sword, pre-Edo period sword as opposed to Shinto. Boundary year, 1596. Kauta, short traditional songs originating in Edo period entertainment districts, typically performed by geisha with shamisen accompaniment. Koyaku, child roles in kabuki, kozuka. Handle of the small utility knife in the scabbard pocket, also used for the whole knife. Kubo, shogun title, later also assumed by the Kanto Kanrei. Kudoki, dramatic scenes where onagata actors express deep emotions similar to operatic arias. Kugyo, a collective term for the very few most powerful men attached to the court of the Emperor of Japan in pre-Meiji eras. Kuji-in, system of Buddhist mudras and mantras based on 9-syllabic hand seals. Kujikiri, ritual of symbolic cuts with associated mudras and mantras. Kuyin, temple kitchen and administrative offices, especially in Zen-garan. Kumadori, the distinctive face makeup patterns used in kabuki, featuring bold lines and colors that represent different character types. Kumiodori, a form of musical theater developed in the Ryukyu Kingdom in the early 18th century. Kuroko, stage assistants in Japanese theater who wear all black clothing and hoods. Kurumabin, distinctive wig style for aragoto roles, featuring hair bundles tied at the sides of the face. Kusemai, a dramatic dance song tradition that emerged in the 14th century, characterized by its strong rhythmic patterns. Kwakamai, a medieval narrative dance drama that influenced the development of No theater. Kyotoku Incident, a long series of conflicts for control of the Kanto region in the 15th century. Kyo Odori, spring dance performances by the Miyagawacho Geiko district, held in early April. Kyogen, a form of traditional comic theater that developed as intermission and comic relief between No plays. Kyogen mask, masks used in Kyogen theater, worn less frequently than in No. Kyogen Sakusha, professional kabuki playwrights who emerged during the Genroku period. Kyozo, scripture storehouse for Buddhist texts and historical books. Kyuran Mono, a subcategory of No, plays depicting characters experiencing mental anguish or psychological breakdown. Lagena, narrow-necked flask for wine or liquid. Lararium, shrine to household gods. Lares, household deities, guardians, protectors. Later, Hojo clan, also known as Odawara Hojo clan, a powerful warrior clan of the Sengoku period. Lesbian Saima, S-curved cornice molding with palmette or egg and dart decoration. Lesbian wave, concave band or strip used in molding. Libertinus, freed slave. Lintel, horizontal beam above windows or doors. Lituus, the curved staff of an augur, symbolizing his office. Loggia, covered open gallery or corridor, commonly on upper levels. Lucus, a grove or small wooded area considered sacred. Ludi, games held as part of religious festivals. Lupercus, wolf priests, colleges of priests associated with the Lupercalia festival. Lustratio, the ritual of purification conducted every 5 years in Rome. Ma, the concept of negative space or the interval between two structural parts in Japanese aesthetics. Machi, notches on the blade where the guard, tsuba, is fitted. Maiko, an apprentice geisha in Kyoto known for their distinctive attire and training. Main Hall, the principal building of a Buddhist temple complex housing the main image. Maki, a Japanese lacquer decoration technique using sprinkled gold or silver powder. Matsukawa hada, a wood grain-like surface pattern on the blade resembling pine bark. Matsuri, traditional Japanese festivals often involving processions and rituals. Mempo, a facial armor piece worn by samurai, often elaborately decorated. Mi, a powerful pose struck by kabuki actors to highlight a dramatic moment. Mokumi hada, wood grain-like steel grain pattern on a blade. Monday, family crest or emblem used to identify clans or families. Mugen no, a style of no play featuring supernatural beings and dreamlike sequences. Mushai, warrior prince, a genre of ukiyo-e depicting samurai and battles. Nagakatana, a long sword with a blade length typically over 60 centimeters, worn by samurai. Nagamaki, a pole weapon with a long handle and a curved blade used in feudal Japan. Naginata, a traditional Japanese pole weapon with a curved blade on the end. Nara period, the era in Japanese history from 710 to 794 when the capital was in Nara. Nembutsu, chanting the name of Amida Buddha as a form of devotion in Pure Land Buddhism. Nenbutsu Odori, a Buddhist dance associated with chanting Nenbutsu. Netsuke, small carved toggles used to secure pouches or containers to kimono sashes. No, classical Japanese musical drama known for its slow, stylized movement and masks. No mask, masks worn by no actors to represent various characters and emotions. No stage, the traditional stage for no performances featuring a roof and specific architectural elements. Obon, a Japanese Buddhist festival honoring the spirits of ancestors. Odachi, a very large Japanese sword with a blade length exceeding 90 centimeters. Odori, traditional Japanese dance, often performed in festivals and theatrical performances. Ogi, folding fan used in traditional Japanese dance and theater. Okesa, a Buddhist monk's robe worn diagonally over one shoulder. Oni, demonic creatures or ogres in Japanese folklore, often depicted with horns and fierce expressions. Onagata, male actors in kabuki who specialize in female roles. Oshiguma, a kabuki actor's makeup imprint on a piece of cloth collected as a memento. Otokoyaku, male roles in Japanese theater, especially in Takarazuka Revue. Oyama, female roles played by male actors in kabuki. Palanquin, a covered litter carried by bearers used for transportation of nobles. Puppet theater, traditional Japanese puppet performances, such as bunraku. Romon, two-storied gate commonly found at Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines. Roka, corridor or hallway in traditional Japanese architecture. Ryu, school or style, often referring to martial arts or artistic traditions. Ryuteki, a transverse bamboo flute used in gagaku music. Sado, the Japanese tea ceremony, a traditional ritual influenced by Zen Buddhism. Sanjurokasen, the 36 Immortals of Poetry, a group of classical Japanese poets. Sashimono, small banners worn by samurai on their backs during battle. Seiza, traditional Japanese sitting posture with legs folded under the thighs. Senjafuda, stickers or placards bearing the names of pilgrims or worshippers. Shakuhachi, a traditional Japanese end-blown bamboo flute. Shamisen, a three-stringed traditional Japanese musical instrument. Shingon, a major school of Japanese esoteric Buddhism founded by Kukai. Shinto, indigenous spirituality of Japan focusing on kami worship. Shogun, military dictator of Japan during most of the period spanning from 1185 to 1868. Shoji, sliding paper doors used in traditional Japanese architecture. Shoji ita, the wooden frame of a shoji door. Shoji mado, window covered with shoji paper. Shoto, short sword, typically the wakizashi or tanto. Shugendo, a syncretic Japanese religion combining mountain worship and esoteric Buddhism. Sohei, warrior monks of medieval Japan. Sojutsu, the martial art of spear fighting. Soto, one of the main schools of Zen Buddhism in Japan. Sugawara no Mishizane, a Heian period scholar, poet and politician deified as Tenjin. Suzumebachi, a small, sharp spearhead shaped like a hornet's nest. Tachi, a type of Japanese sword worn suspended edge down, predating the katana. Tamaguchi, a sakaki branch decorated with paper strips used as an offering in Shinto rituals. Tate, a kabuki stage fight or duel. Tategoto, a Japanese zither with movable bridges. Tengu, supernatural creatures often depicted with red faces and long noses. Tessen, iron fan used as a weapon by samurai. Tsuba, the handguard of a Japanese sword. Tsubomi, bud or unopened flower, symbolizing potential and beauty. Tsuka, the hilt or handle of a Japanese sword. Uchiwa, a rigid flat fan used in traditional Japanese culture. Ukiyo-e, Japanese woodblock prints depicting scenes of the floating world. Uta, traditional Japanese poetry or song. Wagoto, a soft, gentle style of kabuki acting, often portraying romantic leads. Waki, supporting actor in no theater. Yagura, watchtower or turret in Japanese castles. Yamabushi, ascetic mountain hermits associated with Shugendo. Yamato-e, classical Japanese painting style emphasizing native themes. Yari, Japanese spear used by samurai. Yosei, traditional Japanese vaudeville or variety theater. Yurei, ghosts or spirits in Japanese folklore. Zabuton, a Japanese cushion for sitting. Zanmai, a state of meditative absorption or intense concentration. Zashiki, a tatami room used for receiving guests. Zen, a school of Mahayana Buddhism emphasizing meditation and insight. Zori, traditional Japanese sandals made of straw or other materials.